Hi everyone, welcome to You Start in a Tavern. Now, let's be honest, there's probably a ton of videos on YouTube about how to get into D&D and what you should do to start playing D&D. Well, this video started with a conversation I had with one of my best friends yesterday, actually. And he texted me and he said basically, hey, I want to buy my dad a D&D starter set for Christmas. Which one should I get? And as of this video, there are 3 sets that you can buy that will get you into D&D. And I gave him my recommendation and my reasons why, and it made me realize, I should totally make a video about that. I'm gonna go over the current state of D&D starter sets, and I'm gonna recommend which one you should buy. So I started playing D&D back in about 2017, 2018, and it really changed my life, and it's become my biggest hobby and passion since then. And I've probably introduced more than 20 people to the game. I'm always trying to figure out what is the best way to get new players into the game. It's a fine balance, right? Some people might be really into fantasy and role-playing. Some people might not be into it at all, but they're interested in playing the game. I have learned over the years what really makes a good starting session. So I'm always very excited when there's a new D&D starter set. The latest one came out a few months ago, the new 2022 starter set, and I was really eager to get it and see what the writers and the people at Wizards of the Coast, what they put together. So in this video, I'm first gonna go over all 3 sets. I'm gonna go in what's in them, I'm gonna go over the story modules, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts and recommendations on which one I prefer and which one you may wanna get for your first game. So currently there are 3 D&D starter sets, and if you're new to D&D, it might be a little confusing about what they are and which one to get. So the first one is the original Dungeons & Dragons starter set. The second one that came out a few years ago is the D&D Essentials Kit, and I'll explain in a moment why this one's a little bit different. And the third one that just came out in 2022, a few months ago, is the new starter set, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. So what comes in each of these sets? So let's start with the original starter set. Now, in the original starter set, it only comes with the most basic, bare bones things. 2 books. One of them is the story module, which the DM will use to tell the story. The second one is a very light and easy to understand rule book. And this is kind of a condensed version of the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook, 2 of the kind of main books that D&D players will use and play with. It also comes with 1 basic set of dice and a couple of pre-made characters. That's it. It's just a bare bones basic starter set. Now the second one, the Essentials Kit, now this one, it's a little bit more, but it comes with very similar things. 2 books as well. One is a story module for the DM, and the other one is also a light rule book. But this one comes with a few extra items. You get basically a cardboard Dungeon Master screen where the Dungeon Master can sit behind it and reference the rules and hide his or her notes. It also comes with a map, which is very useful. And it also comes with a small little box of cards that have a couple of really cool things in there. Initiative tokens, which are used to track your order in combat, and also some NPCs, some magic items, and a few other little quest things that are in there that are great giveaways for the players. So the last one is the 2022 starter set, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Now this one comes basically with similar things to the original starter set. It comes with 2 books, a story module and the rules, and some printed character sheets, and a set of dice. Same things, but now it's a different story. One thing that's cool about the new starter set is these character sheets have some extra features on them. Basically, they're not designed like the normal character sheets. What they've done is they've actually taken some rules from the books and put them onto the sheet. So this doesn't look like your normal player sheet they usually have. It has basically some of the rules added onto it, which is pretty cool. The next thing we're going to go over is the actual stories that come with these sets. As you know, there's 3 different stories for the DM to play. And a lot of times, dungeon masters who already own a bunch of stuff will still buy these so they can get those story modules. So the very first one is called Lost Mines of Phandelver. Now, the story that comes in this one is actually quite cool. So it involves the players having to kind of take a job that takes them to this lost dungeon, and they're hired by some dwarves. Now, this one has been known, as I've seen online, and I haven't played through the entire thing, to be honest, only through the first half, I'd say, with my players before we moved on to a bigger campaign. But this one's fun. It's a classic D&D module. It's a classic story. It has a lot of like classic fantasy elements, and I think it's a really great intro for the players. So now onto the Essentials Kit. The story that comes with this one is called Dragon of Icespire Peak. Now this one is very, very cool. It involves the players going to a small town, and that small town is basically plagued by a white dragon that is kind of roaming the land and causing some havoc in different parts of the realm. And the players have to go and investigate all these different places and randomly potentially confront the dragon, and they eventually have to stop it and figure out the threat. So the last story module that comes in the 2022 starter set is called Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Now this one involves the players going to this island that is basically home to worshippers of Bahamut, who is one of the dragon gods and brother of Tiamat in the D&D lore. And basically there is something going on under this island, and the players have to investigate it. To continue the story that I was telling you about my friend and what he should get for his dad for a Christmas present, I recommended the D&D Essentials Kit. And that is the kit that I recommend to new D&D players or people that want to get into the game. Now here is my reasoning behind that. When you play Dungeons & Dragons for the first time, yes, you only need character sheets. You only need dice. You don't need anything else. But in my opinion, that takes away a little bit from the Dungeons & Dragons experience. Now what I love about the Essentials Kit is it's not that much more. It's about $10 more, and you get so many other things. You get a map, you get a DM screen, you get some little handouts and that you can give out to the players. And I'm telling you, that really makes a huge difference your first time playing D&D. I'm a big proponent of having visuals when you play, you know, and the DM screen has some amazing art on it. And you know, and the tokens and the handouts and the maps create some great visuals for your players, and I think that just greatly enhances the first game. I'm really surprised that the other D&D starter sets don't come with some of those basic items, like even the little DM screen is a great thing in my opinion. And I think it really starts you off and gets you really into the D&D spirit, so much more than the other starter sets. Also, I was a little bit disappointed with the new starter set that came out, and I wasn't a big fan of the story. I was excited to get the book, and I started reading through the story, and I just wasn't really happy with it. It felt like, in all honesty, that they kind of dumbed it down a little bit and softened it up to make it a little more family friendly. And even though D&D is super inclusive and super progressive, which is amazing, my issue with that is that it's just kind of taken away from the excitement. And in all honesty, D&D has lots of violence and scary creatures and lots of combat and action. And danger and things like that are the best parts of D&D, and that's what makes it so much fun to play. This story from Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, it just felt kind of boring. It felt kind of lame, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. And I think like the very first encounters, a couple of zombies come out of the water, and I just didn't think that was very creative. And to be fair, I haven't gone through the rest of the module like in its entirety, but I really think the Essentials Kit is my favorite. I also love the story. It's very easy as a new DM to do that story. The mechanics and the kind of open world aspect of it is very easy to run. And that is totally what I would recommend if you want to get into D&D in 2022. I would get the Essentials Kit. You get so many cool little tokens and stuff that you can use. The module is easy to run, and I think that will really create the best D&D experience if you want to introduce it to some new players. Thanks for watching. I would love to hear your comments on this video. Apologize if it was a little bit long, but I love to talk. Please like, subscribe, and check out some of the other videos on my channel because I'm going to be creating a lot more this year. Thank you.